So I'm out here today. It's going to be a short video. So we have a little bit of a face-off here. Okay, these guns are very similarly priced, and they are both ported from the factory. On the right here, we got the Fusion Firearms XF Pro. Right there. And I have a 17 rounder in there. We got the ST on top. Over here on my left, we got the CZ P-10C ported. Also, I put one of the 2 round extensions on here. So this is a 17. And then I have 4 other 15 round mags for each. So similar capacity. So we got the 17s here, and then I got a 15s, which they both come with. However, this one does come with the 2+2 extensions. This one does not, but these mags are, like, $10 or whatever. So I have gloves on because it's below 20 degrees out here, but I can tell you, grip wise, these are not factory. They sell these. They're like 10 or 12 bucks. They come normally this gun's all aluminum, and it usually has the aluminum grips. They're not goods. This here, so grip immediately, I can tell you, will go to this from the factory. This will bite into your hand a lot better than this will. However, these $10, these are just this plastic little grips. These do increase the grip a lot better than the factory ones for an extra 10 bucks. So grip from the factory, CZ will take that W. Also, I can't show you here, but triggers, both triggers are pretty good actually. Maybe I'll touch more on that later, but they're both pretty good triggers. I might give the slight edge to the CZ, but the reset on the XF Pro is no slouch, but they're both pretty good. Around 4-pound or so triggers. However, they do put a little bit of texture here on both sides. You have ambi over here for the mag release. Slide stop right there. Not over here on the XF. However, I do like this ledge that the XF Pro puts. However, the texture is nice on the CZ P-10C ported. However, even though this has ambi slide release, they're extremely difficult to activate. Even after 600 rounds, it's harder than hell. So I would give that to this one, even though it's not ambi. I'm right-handed anyways. Sorry to the wrong-handed people out there, but I would give it to the XF Pro just because these are shit and they are extremely hard to activate. And also, I do love this ledge, and I am also right-handed, so I would probably give the edge this little bit of extra feature. Anyways, to start, SHOWDOWN, ported XF Pro, ported P-10C ported, chunk, 4 ports, both from the factory. We're going to start with the XF Pro, and then we'll go to the P-10C ported. I have a lot of layers on because it is below 20 degrees out here. So we'll start with the XF Pro. Let's bring 2 more mags with us. We'll do 1 mag, and then I will switch to the P-10, and we'll get a nice feel up. So we're going to start with the XF Pro. A lot easier to rack the slide. Definitely lighter recoil assembly than the P-10. So let's just run a couple. Ran them all. Shoot soft. I'll try to speed it up a little bit. Accuracy is going to spread, but you can see I got a nice little group there. I'll speed it up some for you. Okay, we're just going to shoot at the middle here. Very soft. So this is me taking my time a little bit. You can see I pulled 2 down low. And then this is me, just when I see that dot kind of in here, I'm pulling the trigger. I don't know how well you guys can see that. I have a beanie on my head here. So you can see I got a good bit here. And it looks like, see 1, 2, 3. We got 4 of them that are kind of outside my main target area out of the 15. This here was 17. So that's the first rounds with the XF Pro. So those 32 rounds, very reliable. On those 32, I have had occasional hiccups with the ported. We'll put that there. Now we got a 17 and a 15. So let's see how the P-10C compares. Okay. By the way, we are shooting 115 grain Winchester shitbox on both of these handguns today. Okay, it's the exact same ammo on both guns, 115 grain. We're gonna go for that right circle. I'll try to take my time a little bit on this one. The reset is longer on the CZ. And I don't care for how curved the trigger is. Ran them all. Recoil, Impulse, they feel fairly similar. Quick look right there. Little similar, maybe a little bit more condensed on the XF, but I think a lot of that is the longer reset on the trigger. And I do have gloves on, and my hands are freezing. It is below 20 out here, so let's do this 15. And this is what I mean with the slide. Release, not good. Has not broken in 600 plus rounds. Okay, well, we don't exactly have a fresh target here. So I will go for the head. It's a smaller target, so it's not as fair. You won't be able to see as well as where the rounds are going. But I'm gonna shoot as soon as I see that dot at the top of the head. Okay. Boy, did it go quick. Too quick. A little bit of hesitation, that's on me. That's the shooter, not the gun. Clear out some of this debris out of the way. And you can see we have them inside of the target area. I tried to keep them within the circle, and you can see we have 1, 2, we have 4 outside. How about that? So, fucker's tight as fuck. So let's see here, XF Pro. Too many layers on. Like I said, XF Pro right here. You have a pretty nice group here. 2 out, 2 over here. That was 17. This was the 17 with the CZ P-10C ported. I would say overall, I probably spreaded them out maybe a little bit more. And maybe it looks like maybe 2 or maybe a couple more kind of on a pie. But you can see we have very close to a fist-sized group. Very close to also a fist-sized group. Down here, kind of shooting as I see the dot. Like I said, we got them all within here, and then 4 out. CZ, similar thing, all within here. I would say, if we ignore the 4 on the outside, we have a fist-sized group. If we ignore the 4 on the outside, we also have a fist size group. I do not have a measuring, so this is information for you guys. Whatever you think. Obviously, this is all going to be shooter dependent. I'm just, you know, regular Joe Blow here shooting a gun. So I'm sure a lot of you guys can do better. Maybe 1 or 2 of you guys can do worse. But this is XF, P-10, XF. So there's that. Now what we're going to do now, because I don't want to make a super long video, I'm probably going to chop this up, so you might see a lot of transitions. Is it now we're going to solely focus on recoil impulse. So we have similar accuracy from both of these handguns. We're going to go back to the Fusion Firearms. I'll cover more specs. This is definitely a little heavier. This is all aluminum metal. This here steel polymer frame, but better texture to hang on to there. So put these KZ mags in there. I'm not gonna do that in a second here, and then get this one ready. So we'll run these 2, and we'll just stay back here because we're not worried about accuracy. We're just going to focus solely on the impulse. Try to focus on the gun. Put a little bit of slow fire in here. See what you guys think. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to try to hold her down. Okay. She's a beaut. Now what we're gonna do here, this is gonna be a little bit of a mag dump, okay? Just to see how jumpy she gets in my cold, bloated hands. Okay? Let me get a nice firm grip on here before we unload. Ready? Okay. She feels great. Okay. Throw that over there. Empty. Put her here. Ooh, kind of almost flagged myself there. We'll leave that right there. All right, we'll do a little bit of slow shooting, and then we'll do a mag dump. Okay. We're also seeing a little bit of a reliability comparison here. Let's get a nice grip here. Similar grip. Okay, so after shooting them both, focusing more on impulse, 2 things. One thing is, I take back what I said. I prefer the trigger on the XF Pro. I like how it's flatter. It doesn't have this big safety dingus in it. Let's do the mag dump here before we talk, okay? And now we're going to mag dump, and we'll see how, well, this is also a little bit of a reliability test, okay? All right, get a nice grip. All right, ready? Okay. There she goes, perfect reliability. So where we're at here with these 2 guns, after shooting them back to back, is we have similar accuracy with both of them. However, after focusing more on the recoil impulse, I also think it has something to do with the weight. I'll get the weight down. I'll post it up for you guys, the weight comparison, because these are two, like I said, two similarly priced firearms. You have pedigree here with the CZ. Fusion, still kind of a new kid on the, well, not new kid on the block, but I think in the striker fire business, definitely probably a new kid on the block. Grip angles are, as you can see, they are similar. You have similar grip angles on these. They both, I feel like they both point pretty similarly. So back to what I was saying is that after shooting them both, here let's show the triggers engaged here. After shooting them both, I prefer the XF Pro trigger, and I'll tell you why. It just comes down to the reset. They both have a lot of take up. See right here, right there. This one here, this is a Pro, but the XF though, however, it's a roll and break, so you can go right through that wall. But that's your reset right there. That reset is mean. That is a short reset. And if I show you here, I got a lot of take up on this one too. The wall, it's not quite a roll and break. You have a defined wall on this one though. And there's a bit of creep after the wall. And there's your reset. And then you get a nice clean break. So take up very similar, roll and break, wall. However, the reset on this is just shorter and cleaner. So to the I would give the trigger, better trigger. I take that back. I give that point back to the XF Pro. As far as recoil impulse goes, the XF Pro shoots a little, it definitely shoots a little softer noticeably. There is a little bit more kick. This is what kind of what the guns look like in size, guys. I hope I'm showing you guys correctly so I make myself look like an ass out here. Right there. You have very similar, these are both 4-inch guns. I do think you'll get a lot of life out of this Cold Hammer Forge heavy duty barrel out of this. It'll probably last you longer, but these Cold Hammer Forge barrels last a long time. But this is a softer shooter. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little bit more snappy, but this is also a heavier gun. I do think they're both very carryable firearms. And you can see here, I'm empty here, but you see how foggy that window is. But right here, not so much. But these are two different dots as well. But this is probably kicking up more gas because these ports do run closer to the optic than this one on the edge of the barrel. Something to keep in mind. So real quick here, we'll run the last one. I'll give you guys one last looky. Looky, you like that one? I just sound like I'm a kid again here. Right here. Nice shooter, nice shooter. Like I said, I'm wearing gloves, so you don't really feel the texture as much when you got these gloves on, but I had to. My hands are cold, guys. But like I said, factory grip texture, CZ wins, no contest. But like I said, these little cheap plastic things are pretty nice that Fusion sells for this gun on their website. Okay, last mag here. Windows a bit cloudy. Yeah, she's soft as fuck. Yeah. Softer shooter. Softer shooter. Wins on the reset. Better grip texture. And release. If you can get it to work. Nice heavy duty Cold Hammer Forge barrel with the chunk port, which is nice. So you guys tell me either way. I can't really co-witness. You can kind of see the front post with this one. So also, this doesn't come with an optic plate. You have to buy it separately. This comes with optic plates. So, come on. There she goes. So you guys tell me, who do you think wins the showdown? CZ P-10C ported with its, you know, solid track record, or kind of ish, not really, Fusion Firearms storming the striker fire scene with the XF Pro, with this all metal framed gun. I already said striker fire. So you guys tell me. Czech Republic. This one here is made in Turkey. Let me know who wins. You decide.